Hi everybody, welcome to Slotbuster Living, and if you're returning, so glad that you came back to today's video. I keep watching like all these videos and they have these amazing intros, and I sit here in front of the camera and all I want to do is, hi, come on in, let's grab a cup of coffee, let's chat. I'm not one for small talk really. I like to really dig in and kind of go at it, but those intros, like, they make me want to do more, right? Okay, well, with that intro, let's get into today's topic. Okay, today is Money Management Mondays. I actually managed to say that in one fell swoop. Getting there. I am in my daughter's room because this is going to be a crazy week. I don't know what kind of consistent upload schedule I will get done for you. I'm just letting you know now. Don't know what to expect. My daughter will have surgery, heart surgery on Thursday. We're going to leave Wednesday. I have family flying up to help me out during this time. So many things, but you're here for the budget, so let's talk budget. I'm babysitting today. I also have respite care today, and family's coming in within an hour. Bear with me, y'all. Okay, so I actually have some really exciting things for this month. Today is the first Monday of January, and we usually talk budgets. If you'll notice, this is all filled out, and that is because that's going to go into the hard topic here and now. And I want to talk about something really difficult, but I think this is super important. I cannot tell you how much I have tossed and turned throughout the night, and I'm not just saying that. Like, I legit have woken up trying to figure out, should I put this in? I don't know. Is it going to be helpful? Is it too much? Discretion is such a valuable tool in today's world, and it's not utilized well. And discretion to me is super important for me, for this channel, but being honest and being real and being vulnerable in such a way that encourages you and helps you towards your goals is also important. So there's a balance here that I'm trying to meet. So if it seems like in editing things are a little choppy, or if your video seems a little choppy, that might be in editing. I just realized this isn't the thing I want to need to share, and I will just cut it out. And just please, like, if you've been around here, you know me and you'll understand. And if this is your first time, maybe watch some other videos and get to know me, and it'll kind of make sense. My husband and I sat down and we did the budget, and I showed the basic budget. And the other thing he wanted to have was just how much was in each account. Anytime you get a couple, I don't care how much in love they are. I don't care how much, caring isn't the right word, but it doesn't matter how much in love they are. It doesn't matter how strong their marriage is. It doesn't matter anything. When you get two people down to talk finances, to talk realistic views, there's tension. And I think the tension is there because of the fear of judgment that we have on how we are handling finances, especially for me. With my husband brings the bulk of the money home, and am I using those finances to the best? And my husband is like, I have a heavy burden on me right now. I'm doing what I believe God has called me to do, which is to be a pastor, and what that entails, and I have to provide for a family. And I'm gonna, in being discreet, but really wanting to help somebody out there, because this is real and this is something to be aware of. My husband and I walked away at one point. We just got up and walked away. There was tears shed. There wasn't like anger and shouting. There wasn't any of that. There was just this pent up of emotions that just overflooded. Like, both of us were just so emotional, and there was just this time of hurt going on. And again, it had nothing to do with us pointing fingers and me. It had nothing to do with that. It just had this pent up of, and I'm quick on my feet with numbers. When things like this come, I'm just sitting down and I'm doing things. So my husband was just like, wait, where are you going? And it just, again, we just got to a point where both of us just got up and walked away from each other. Anybody seeing us would have been shocked. And I'm sharing this not because we sat down and then we're like, okay, well, that didn't go well. It was more of a, okay, that was exhausting. That was emotionally exhausting. Now let's finish this. And you may experience that when sitting with your spouse. I know that there's just such tension going on, but it is so important to sit down and be one with your partner. It's kind of like what the Bible says, the hand doesn't need to say to the foot, I have no need of you. You are working together as one. You need to be on the same page. And as much as I thought we were, apparently we weren't. In last week's video, I talked to you about goals and how I set up a basic budget for us for the year. And this weekend, my husband and I were like, we've got to get on the same page. We have to just sit down and look everything over, go over everything, and make a plan for the new year. His next semester will be starting in a couple of weeks, and he is trying to figure out what classes he can get in and how much work he needs to do. To understand this, last year, I guess I can technically say, he took Wednesdays off, and he did this for a couple of reasons. One, it was just because there was so much schoolwork that was needing to get done. With how his work and school schedule went, there just wasn't enough time to study, and there wasn't enough time to get all of the things done around the house that he needed to. So he ended up taking Wednesdays off, and pretty much on a consistent basis, that whole day was spent trying to study, trying to get papers done that he needed to get written, and things like that. So we needed to sit down, do our budget, and kind of figure out what is Wednesday going to look like. So there's a couple of things that we talked about. One is possibly him going back to work part-time on Wednesdays, and that will help bring in a little bit more income, help us go towards our goals, but also just making sure that home time for study time is just best utilized. What that's going to mean for our budget is we're probably going to have an increase in the budget that I wasn't planning for. Yes? So that was something that, in last week's video we hadn't really talked about and planned about. So now we'll have possibly a increase in my husband's weekly budget. Now, another thing that I had talked about, I think, in last week's video, and let me start out by apologizing. I never meant to be dishonest. I never meant to create a stumbling block. Actually, I was trying not to create a stumbling block. Yes, sweetheart? I was actually trying not to create a stumbling block because I know not everybody has the opportunities or the time to do what I'm doing. And so I was trying not to do that and trying to show another way. I don't know. I don't know where my mind was going. I was just trying not to create, like, here's all the side things that I do, but you may not be able to do it. I was trying not to put that out there, but I think it ended up coming across as me not being honest. So I do apologize for that. That wasn't my intention at all. I'm going to tell you what my husband's projected income is before he decided that he would go back to work half-time on Wednesdays. So the way his work goes, he works for like an hour in the morning, but then he works from 12 to 5 pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then the mornings are his classes. And then Wednesday he takes off. And then one Saturday every month it's a rotation for the guys at where he works. He works at Ace Hardware Store. I have a hair that's really annoying me. I apologize. And so his projected pay is between $325 and $350 every week. Sometimes it's $333. It just depends on how much hours he goes in. So the yard will close at 5, but maybe he's in the middle of a project and can't finish, or maybe he's out on a delivery and can't clock out, or whatever he is. And sometimes he ends up working till like 6:30. So there just isn't a consistent pay. And sometimes in the morning he goes in extra early and will get yard things going off that he needs to do. So I don't have a consistent, he makes this amount every week, because he works from 9 to 5 on the dot. Doesn't work that way. So for 3 or 4 weeks out of the 4 or 5 weeks, we have a consistent paycheck of between $325 and $350. And then one paycheck is usually about 4 something. So that income is between $1,400 to $1,500, roughly, okay? And then my income comes in. So I, first of all, basically help homeschool a kid. And what that means is I go through all the curriculum. I assign him curriculum. I tell him he needs to send me stuff. And I do all of this work. And I send it to him, and then that's how I homeschool. His parents actually have to open the books and make sure that he's reading what he's doing. But insofar as possible, I just assign everything and kind of lay it out for them. Sometimes it means I'm also writing curriculum for them. Like we were trying to do a Constitution study, and so I was writing a Constitution study basically for him. And so I get paid an amount every month, unless there is like a week that we take off, so holiday, and if I don't assign him anything, I don't get that holiday pay. That income is $225 every month. So that is consistent as long as school is in session. So come June, I don't get that money. So that's pretty much the only consistent thing that I can say. Also, I babysit. But to understand this, I am babysitting a single mom who's living a rough situation, who doesn't make much money at all. And so if she forgets to pay me, I don't ask her for it. I don't search it out. I just kind of let it be. And so it's not always consistent too, because sometimes grandma steps in because grandma doesn't have work and grandma takes the kids. And so there, again, isn't just enough consistent income from that. Being on YouTube means that I put the ads out, and those ads are what help generate income towards me. Averaging, it's about $100 every 6 months is what I am making about now. So it's a lot more than a candy bar kind of thing. But if you broke it down into each individual videos that I have made, it's the price of a candy bar is basically what I get for making these videos. So again, it's not reliable income because it depends on algorithms. It depends on watch views. It depends on how much footage I can get out, how much other things. So all of that to say, what I'm going to share with you that I earned this past month was shocking to me and to my husband, but it's not consistent, so I can't rely on it. But that brought up our $1,500 paycheck to a much higher one for our income for this month. And I personally, again, if you go back to the goals, I was like, let's put it all on the house. And so at this point in time, that is the goal, is to put everything that I have here on the house. Let me talk about that again. The reason I want to pay off our house as quickly as possible and just hit it as hard as I can are for a couple of reasons. One, like I talked about in the last video, we bought a house for $88,000. You pay $30,000 in interest. You are not going to be able to sell your house for $130,000 plus, or $120,000. This house isn't worth it. And so there is a deficit there, and I don't like things like that. I would like to try to break even, especially on a home. I would like to try to break even. But even more so, I don't know where we'll end up after my husband finishes seminary school. I don't know what the housing situation is going to be like. If we end up in a place where the best we can get is $150,000, if we have an $80,000 down payment we can make, that's going to make that mortgage payment, again, so much smaller, especially when you have a small income. That's the kind of things that I'm thinking about ahead. So anything that I get, I'm just constantly wanting to put it down. Otherwise, we're going to be in a situation where we have a high house payment and we're just struggling even more than we are now. And as the kids get older, you might think, well, more opportunities open up. Guys, my mom told me this years ago and I didn't believe her, but she said, you know, when kids get older, your time actually diminishes. They need you more. The kids, those are some easy things to do. Play a game, make meals, spend some one-on-one time. But when they're teenagers, it's a different kind of time that is needed from you. And I'm learning that so much. I'm learning that as they get older, my time goes a lot smaller. So I don't want to rely on the fact that I'll have all this time to do extra work. Don't know if that's going to be accurate. So with all of that, and before I flip the camera around and show you our budget, I do want to I have a surprise for everybody. It's one of the things with Sawbuster Living, with our home, is we really strive to give back to others. We have been given much, and we are very blessed, and I think it's so important to find opportunities and ways to turn around and bless others, whether that's in your community or other things. Our family has experienced some severe medical things. So right now my daughter's going to have a heart procedure. When my 12-year-old was 3 years old, he tripped and fell over an electrical power line that had the transformer blew. I'm going to give you the simplest story. The transformer blew. It started a fire on a fence in the middle of a desert in summer, and nobody saw this wire on the ground, and my son tripped and fell over it and landed on it and ended up with 3rd-degree burns. And it was many surgeries later, many skin grafts, and so many astronomical medical bills, and our community stepped up and just did so many fundraisers, so much help to just help us meet these financial needs. And that kind of started a chain of events of anytime we can help others, we will. But also, too, those with medical needs are just really personal to me. And so I've been watching a lot of Lining Up Ducks with her channel. It is a family that decided to go debt-free, live minimally, live small, and so now they're RV living. And I will try to leave their channel link down below. But she had a fundraiser. Her daughter has a certain disease that means a certain amount of surgeries every period of time. Everything will be linked down below for you. But anyway, she had a fundraiser to help them with this next medical expenses. One of the things of being such a low income is that we have state health care. And I know not everybody has that opportunity, and I know insurance. I know the backstory with insurance and costs and things like that. So when she had this fundraiser, I ended up taking the money that we had earned back from Ibotta and some of the money that had been gifted to us, and I put it towards purchasing this thing that I'm going to show you here for a giveaway for all of you. And I hope that it's I hope that it is very useful to you. Anyway, it was a way to help her, and it was a way to kind of give back to you guys, the viewers. So this is what I did. And so I have her, this is the Money Made Easy Annual Financial Planner and Budget by Paycheck little planner. She only had a certain amount of these that she printed. She does have Etsy stores where you can make your own, but these are laminated. I will be honest that it came in a really nice bubble mailer, and I have been selling books like crazy, and I just needed that mailer. So I took everything out, put it on my computer desk, did the mailing, got it all going, and then my son brought me coffee and slammed it on the desk. And so I do have a coffee stain for you, but it doesn't diminish the helpfulness of this, but it is that. And so this is really nice quality paper, and you just have some let's try not to ruin this anymore. You just have some papers that you can fill out. You have goals. Here are planned spending sheets. We have looking ahead, different worksheets. So there are a lot here for you. There is a whole lot. There's a couple. these. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Annual financial plan was another one that I thought this was really interesting. So I'm giving this away, but also what came with this, and I thought this would be really useful to you if you're going to start doing cash envelopes, oh my goodness, cash envelopes, is that she included some of these cash envelopes that she makes. And so some of them are really, no coffee on there. I think it's just moisture. Some of these are really cute. So like this, you could put your mortgage payment in. And like this would be like a Christmas envelope, gifts, clothing. I mean, there's just simple, medical. Maybe this is restaurants. I think this is restaurants. Gas. Blow money, maybe? I'm not sure. Shopping. And credit cards. Maybe like, I don't know, credit card debt, savings. I'm not sure. But anyway, there are these envelopes that go with it. And you can check the description box down below to see how to enter to win one of these. So yeah, now I'm going to flip the camera around. That's as simple as I'm going to share with it. So just, if you would like to enter this, it's my way of saying thank you to all of you wonderful subscribers that have just been helping me with ideas and suggestions, throwing out encouragement, throwing out tips and help. I wanted to do something to get back to you, and I wanted to find a way to use our finances that we have been blessed with to help continue to bless others. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you. So these last two paychecks are a lot more because my husband does not have school, and so therefore he was working Monday through Friday and has holiday pay in there. Actually, he was not working Monday through Friday. He only worked half day Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve and got New Year's Day off, holiday pay. There you go. So there is his income, and it came to the amount of that, which is, I mean, that is a lot more than what we have been seeing in previous months. Here is December's. So that was, that was really a huge blessing, but that wasn't everything. So over here, I'm going to show you, I have 2 babysitting. Out of 4 weeks, I have 2 weeks of babysitting. Here's that homeschool paycheck. So this is not a paycheck that I have that I'm going to budget for. This was a gift from the congregation, and we ended up just kind of setting it aside for other reasons. Google, I did get paid from Google. This is how I get paid for YouTube, and that was the amount. And then the secretary work that I did, and I want to talk about this really quickly. So before this was added, here is what I came up with, and then secretary work. So this is that new job that I said I was starting, and it is about 2 to 3 hours every day that I have to work. But there was an error in how much I was paid. I was actually not supposed to make that much, and I sent them a correction. So right now they have a credit of $100 with me for this next month. So I won't have as much to basically record because there was an error, and we have that fixed up. So I should have only gotten like $240, I think is what it was. But anyway, there's all of this combined, $249.82, or I'm sorry, $749.82. And if you're like, well, wait, what's that? So in here, I had Amazon affiliates of $18, but I couldn't budget that in here anywhere because I ended up basically having to mail packages and so much. And so that basically just kind of wiped out that before I even budgeted ahead. So that's kind of where this is. So this is the amount that I have in this account right now. I have 2 separate accounts. Anything that we do as a family, so my husband's paychecks, anytime we take out money for anything, it's all from this one. And then we have a separate account that basically is my account, and I'll explain that briefly. I have this linked up to my credit card, my PayPal, and any direct deposits that I get like this. The reason for that is if it was to be, because it's mostly online stuff, if this ever got hacked, it wouldn't affect our main account. So, like I said, it's got my PayPal information, my Discover, all of that. And I just wanted it in this small account so that if I ever got hacked, and I have been hacked a few times, it wasn't affecting our main account. That's why I did it this way. So we call it my account. It's just, I have all the direct deposit kind of things in here. So that was a question that I got last month, so I wanted to address that. So yes, I do have 2 separate checking accounts and 1 savings account. And then I wanted to share with you the basic budget that we came up with. So this $225 is that homeschool cash that I get every month. So all automatically, basically that one's like canceled from the top there. The homeschool is canceled because it needs to be here in order for this to function. And that doesn't include groceries. Remember I talked about this last month. So if I combine all of those, we have the $1,600, and then we can pay for these. We had 2 new things that I needed to start paying for. The house insurance that is due every month, and then a sinking fund of property tax. And then we didn't have anything for groceries, so that was kind of whatever else I would end up. Or if we had a 5th paycheck, we could use it for groceries. And so this was just our basic budget of what we needed to get done. This has nothing on here for like clothing, for like dental things that need to happen, or anything else. This was just basic things that had to be paid every single month. Okay, so now that we've talked about income coming in, now that we talked about our basic budget, here is January's budget. And you guys, my husband and I just, we kind of stared at each other for like, what? So here's my money. Here's my husband's. Here's our total. That is almost double what we make usually. Isn't that crazy? So the first thing we did was, of course, tithing. And it came to this amount. 10% of this was this amount, and we rounded it to 300. Divided it into 5 Sundays, which are in January has 5 Sundays. So divided it by 5. Each Sunday we'll put $60 in the offering. Going to the basic budget, 500 plus whatever. Now I can't do it for, this is January's. We've already paid January's mortgage is due the 1st. So we've already paid mortgage. So this would have been, the extra here will be for February. So it's just 500. And then I use color coding for the rest. And then if we paid for it, I started dating it. So it got confusing. This is one of the things that I'm going to talk about in here in just a second, because some things we had already paid for, the 27th and 28th and 19th of December. So it was kind of, how are we budgeting? How are we using December's paychecks for January if stuff is already paid for, kind of thing. But you know, it is what it is, and this is why I started dating it, just to kind of keep track, because this is what we usually do. We take December's paycheck and basically hoard them until January comes around, and then we calculate that whole cost, and then we lay it out. And I've done a video on that before, but I also wanted to say, hey, stimulus checks I know are supposedly coming, and please, please, please just really consider doing something like this. Just living off of your stimulus check for the month, hoarding all of the funds that are coming in, calculating them like I've been doing, and then budget ahead, because that way you are a month ahead on your bills. I can't stress doing that enough. Okay, so our water, trash, sewer, my husband and I, we just, what happened here? Because last month it was $136.78. And the month before that it was 120. And the month before that, it's 128. Okay, we still had a garden here. How did it go? So I'm going to have to go down to the water place and figure out what's going on here, because that is crazy to me. And I only budgeted for that amount. Go to our basic budget, wherever that is. Here it is. For water, I only budgeted $125. That is almost a $50 deficit here. So again, this is why, you know, having December's paycheck, we know we can cover this. So this isn't a problem. Our electricity, we have budgeted $150 because it's wintertime. Heating costs and all of that. Actually, our gas went up because how our heating works is it heats up by gas, but then it blows out through electric. So not quite sure how that works. It's completely new to me, being a California desert chick. So that's just how it works. So I have budgeted for this, and we'll see what the cost is. We haven't gotten our electric bill yet. The last 2 months we haven't had one because of a credit that we had when we started moving in here. You basically have to put a $250 deposit, and then once you've basically been here a year, then that deposit is credited towards you. Gas, our bill was $51.22, and gas I had budgeted $35. So again, there is, you know, a $15 extra. Internet, $53. That is the same every month, and I have internet at $53. Phones, $85. Again, the same every month. Phones, $85. Insurance, the same every month. Okay, this is like, wait, what? Okay, so my husband goes online and he pays the electric, the gas, the internet, the phones, and our insurance on credit card. He pays it all on credit card. That was to start saving us stamps, because it was just getting really expensive. And then we just pay one credit card bill at the end of the month. Now you might be saying, well, why don't you use your ATM? Again, for the same reason that I have a separate account. If we just put it on the credit card and something gets hacked and information is stolen, it's just a credit card. It's not our bank account. And so then we just pay by check once a month our credit card bill. So this was just me trying to keep track of all of this. So that's why that's here. I do not have a quote from the insurance guy yet, what our monthly house insurance cost is going to be. I'm still waiting to hear back on that. I have budgeted $100, but I would like a more specific amount. And then property tax, it is a sinking fund, $135, and then next month I will have $135 here in our total, what we have saved here. Gas is $180, and then groceries we budgeted $500, and that was, oh, let's not do that, sweetheart. We have $500 in here because again we have that 5th paycheck of $588, and I just said, hey, I just want to budget $500. There's only 4 paychecks in January that I have to wait for. 5 Sundays, but 4 paychecks. How's that for you? But I wanted a little cushion, so that would be approximately $125 a week. And then this is just stuff. I know I've talked about it before, but this is just stuff. I don't have a way to cover it. That my sister gives me a budget for, and then these are the things that we have decided to do with that money, and I just want to keep that to ourselves right now. And then down here I just have, okay, we have paychecks here and then paychecks here, and I have 2 lines because I have so many side incomes, y'all. I'm gonna flip the camera around. I'm really just sitting here sharing these with you. It has nothing to do with views. It has nothing to do with anything other than just wanting this to be helpful to somebody. Yes. I just really, this is the kind of thing that I didn't have. I didn't have a step-by-step layout. I didn't have a look at something every single month back when I was trying to figure all this out. And even something like, hey, this changes every month would have been useful and helpful and not scary. It's also interesting to me that how many times I have projected something and how many times God has stepped in and said, I got this. And that also happened way back when we were trying to pay off our house and living so small. So at the end of this year, I will actually be taking our total incomes that we have been putting here, and I will be having a video basically living off of, and then I'll have the total income. So I don't have, off the top of my head, I don't have a full total of this, but I think what I calculated when I was talking with my husband is that we could put another $500 on top of the $500 that we do in February for our mortgage. And it'll actually be, we send out February's mortgage like the last Monday in January, as long as it gives us a week's worth of time for it to get to the mortgage company. So that'll be $1,000 that we pay down our house with. And that is just because if we're here 3 more years and I can get all of this paid down as quickly as I can, that's money again that we can move forward with and just try to balance everything out, not feel like we're falling behind. I don't ever expect us to feel like we're getting ahead. Well, this month I'm kind of like, ooh. I don't expect that at all. I'm just grateful for each time that I can just get closer to that goal of just not falling behind. Again, as the kids get older, I'm expecting more expenses. I will never be able to buy a car for my kids. They know that. They've already have that mindset of, I need to start thinking about this. My daughter's 13. She's already been thinking about this. She already has a business started. She's already thinking about, hey, my mom and dad will not be able to pay for the things that I want, not the things that I need. So I'm going to have to step up, and if I want these things, pay for them myself. We will, to a certain extent, pay for their insurance as long as they are using our vehicle. And that's going to be expensive. As you look at and see here, if we had like another where I have $500 extra, and I don't expect that at all this next month, then, you know, something like that would be, I could probably put towards having another kid on our insurance, but I don't expect that. And again, 4 years from now, when my husband's out of seminary and we don't know where God will have us, and my daughter's driving, like these are things that I'm thinking about ahead, and this is why I'm just putting everything I can on the house. That's a mortgage payment that we don't have to have for however long we'll need it or not need it. Another house. Do you understand why I do the things that I do? I'm not just thinking about, oh, this means we're going to have to eat not maybe the best way. It means that later on I am not eating beans and rice when it doesn't work for us. So that's that. Okay, I'm just gonna have to wrap this up. I've got kids waiting for me. Please don't forget the giveaway. All that's linked down below. Thank you for watching this week's money management video, and I will see you next week, and I will see you in any other videos that I happen to get out this week. Talk to you later.